What's going on, everybody? It's Kellen Nitro for Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Joining me on the line today is the mysterious, the mighty, there's so many M's, and I keep running out of M's, so I'm just going to say the marvelous TL. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, man, and thank you for not using certain M's in that mantra of names that you were giving me.
When you're this big, they call you Mister. Anyway.
Oh, Mr. TL. Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
Mr. TL it is.
We could call it. We could call you Mr. TL.
I'm Mr. TL. That's who I am from now on.
The only problem is this is our second record of the night. Actually, third record of the night of a project, and the first two will not have Mr. TL, but this one, going forward, we will call you Mr. TL. So,
well, then it is a momentous moment for the TL that you get to hear the day, the time, and the place where I became Mr. TL. You're welcome.
It is truly the historic moment of 2021.
Momentous. Why am I dropping a promo?
It's Cut Down Day. Yes, what we're going to do with this video is TL will be Team WWE. I will be Team AEW. And we are going to treat the rosters of AEW/WWE as if they were NFL training camps or something, and we had to cut down to a certain number, and basically the number was 15 from each side, right?
Yeah, so just a little bit of history on this. Mm-hmm. I was bored at work one day, and I texted
That's what apt is.
And I thought, I was like, what if I were to take 15 guys and just offer them over to the other booker and be like, okay, of these 15, you could take 5.
Right.
And then you offer me 15 and I'll take 5. And we'll see what that would do different to our shows and our rosters. And this all comes from like once upon a time, me and you did this thing where we like completely redrafted Raw versus SmackDown.
We did. Yes. That's back in the day when Periscope was a thing, and we decided to launch and do something for my Twitter that was like a Periscope thing where we just redrafted the rosters.
Yeah, exactly. And so this kind of came up again. I was like, let's give this a shot, man. It sounded like fun. So here we are.
So there we go. So again, rules are such is that we pick 15 from each side that we are basically going to offer a list to the other side with, and that other side can select 5 off of that list.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and so the 5 that I select will go into the WWE roster, and I will explain how I will use the 5 that I've taken, and then vice versa. Of the 15 that I present to you, you take 5, and how those 5 are going to fold into AEW.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough.
Would you like me to go first?
It's fantasy booking as it is. Yes, I would love to see the WWE cut down list, if possible, appraise.
Okay, here we go. So here's the 15 that you, as AEW booker, I'm going to offer you to choose from.
Gotcha.
Here we go. Riddle.
Okay.
Miz. Ziggler. Corbin.
Okay.
Murphy.
Okay.
Ricochet. Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
Angel Garza. Humberto Carrillo.
Right. Okay.
Roderick Strong.
Okay.
Nia Jax.
Yep.
Lacey Evans. Carmella. Peyton Royce.
Okay.
Nikki Cross.
Okay. So before we name my list, just basically, and you don't have to go pick by pick, otherwise we'll be here by night, or all night, I should say. What's the justification for the list? Is this just people that you aren't using right now in storylines and that stuff, and that you feel would be better off elsewhere, or is there other reasoning?
That's a very good question. A lot of these people are people who I think they have potential to do something somewhere else. And I just don't feel that either A, they don't fit into the WWE, or B, they just don't have it. So a lot of these guys that you might be like, wait a second, why would you offer up that guy? It's because I don't think they have it. And I think they'd probably be of better use if they went to AEW instead.
Okay. Very interesting. All right.
Is there any specific that you're thinking that?
There's a few there that, like, with the, like, naming off like Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce and that, so on and so forth. Those are a lot of the girls that end up working matches on main event every week. And basically, if you're on main event, you're not really on Raw,
right?
Or vice versa with SmackDown and so on and so forth. So, yeah, there's a few names there. A lot of them, ironically, are on the Raw brand, which shows you that show. But it's
I didn't even think of that.
There's a few there that would be very interesting in AEW for sure. That I've definitely gotten zeroed in on a couple. So anyway, my list of 15. So here we go. And already my list of 15 maybe pales in comparison a little bit, but this is what we got. So
here we go. Yep.
We're going to start off with Jake Hager.
Okay.
Santana.
Okay.
Ortiz.
Okay.
Matt Sydal.
Okay.
Miro.
Okay.
Michael Nakazawa.
Okay.
Penelope Ford.
Okay.
Kip Sabian.
Okay.
The Martins, Darius and Dante Martin, they are Top Flight.
Okay.
Cesar Bononi.
Okay.
Peter Avalon.
Okay.
Shanna.
Okay.
Mel.
Okay.
And capping off the list, Sean Spears.
Ooh, okay.
So, I'll go ahead and kind of justify this list here. These are people prior to last week's AEW Dynamite. As we record this, we're recording this on March the 5th, AEW Revolution weekend, basically. That for most of them are getting matches on Dark, but nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few big names in here, but I was just looking at the initial list and I was trying to beef it up a little bit with kind of the star power. Not necessarily that I want to lose these individuals, but I don't want to offer you a bunch of AEW Dark rejects. This is what I was looking
right.
So I wanted to throw some quality in there as well. So I think this is the perfect mix. There's a lot of people on this list that haven't had TV time even on Dark over the past few years, few months, not few years, but few months, I should say, either due to travel or injury or vice versa or what have you. And then some that have been trying to establish themselves on Dark, but they're not doing anything with them other than jobbing them out on Dynamite. So again, is their opportunities better suited with WWE?
Mm-hmm,
and these are people that I would love to give like a golden opportunity to WWE, like say, for example, a Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, if, hypothetically you were to take them, put them in NXT, I think would be a great heel couple combination to feud with like a Karrion Kross and Scarlett or something, or
unfortunately they probably end up against or maybe whatever with friggin' Johnny Wrestling and his wife.
Oh, Candice LeRae.
Which I guess you already have that combo, so wouldn't that be redundant?
I guess. I mean, it's your brand, so you just
true.
You just asked me to offer up 15, and this is just this is just a 15. This is nothing taking away from their performances in the ring. Like I said, there's some star talent in there because, trust me, my initial list of 15 basically was all of AEW Dark, and I didn't want to offer you the entirety of the second show. So that's the one problem that I had doing this, is that I was basically offering up the show that was on YouTube. that AEW does.
Which was like, I was floored at first. I'm like, you're willing to give up Santana Ortiz, but keep Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela?
Yep.
I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. So.
Yikes. All right. But, okay, so you go ahead and go first and tell me the 5 that you're going to pick to take over to AEW.
So I would definitely take right off of that list Ricochet. I think that would be a definite. He'd be perfect in AEW, just because that would allow him to kind of reestablish his career over in New Japan with the agreement that AEW has. So Ricochet would come over for sure.
Okay, so with each one of these, we're going to talk about why I would give them up and why they would be good for you as well.
Okay, yeah.
The reason why I'm giving up Ricochet is for that reason, is that I think he fits AEW a little bit better, where he can just show off what he does within the ring.
Okay.
And him against Phoenix would be a nice throwback to when they were at Lucha Underground, breaking up the show, like just tearing it down.
Could you imagine? Exactly. And even if with the New Japan agreement, if somebody like a Will Ospreay comes in and, they had that amazing highlight reel match back in 2015, if they could just even just replicate a small portion of that, that would be even just boom. And
my other thing is, for WWE, Ricochet just don't have it. He doesn't have the mic skills. He doesn't have the character.
Yeah.
There's something about him that just genuinely doesn't come through on TV. It's like, yeah, you can do some flashy moves, but we've got 4 or 5 other guys that do the same stuff. So, yeah, you done.
Ricochet. Okay, I'm writing him down right now. So
cool.
So he's jumping over. All right. So take one off of my list, please.
Done.
Okay, who?
Oh, wait, are we going to do your 5? Or are we going to go back and forth?
Oh, that's, do you want to go back and forth, or do we just want to name 5?
No, throw your 5. Throw your 5.
From my 5? Okay, 5. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, when you named that off, Ricochet was the name that really popped out at me. Peyton Royce was another name that popped out at me as well, because I could take Peyton, and, she's, I think, still one of the best workers that is on Raw right now in the women's division, just because that she's got the gumption that she always seems to be learning something week after week after week to be better and better and better. I think that if and this is a hypothetical, this is weird, but this is totally COVID era NHL logic exposing a potential third or second liner on your waiver wire, but I think that if Sean Spears stays, there's the natural pairing there. So, especially if this new heel 4 horseman group that Tully Blanchard's trying to establish, Peyton could definitely be the eye candy at ringside and be the female heater for sure.
The only thing is, she's not really eye candy. She's a mechanic in the ring, and she doesn't really have that personality that's going to accentuate Sean Spears. They're just husband and wife. Does that really come across on TV? It's the same problem I'm having right now with Johnny Gargano and his wife.
I mean, that's the whole thing. But as under this logic, you would be like, "Well, that's your problem. You deal with it. Fine."
Pretty much.
So.
But my whole thing of giving her away was that of the 2 from the Iconics, she's the giveaway.
Really?
Absolutely.
So you don't think Billie Kay is the giveaway?
No. Billie Kay has all the personality.
Okay.
She was the comedy of that team. She was the personality of that team. She was the eye catcher of that team. She was loud and boisterous and funny and heading all the sketches. Peyton Royce was kind of following behind everything she did. Okay.
Now here is the issue with not seeing the physical copy of your list. I need you to rename the 13 choices because I've already drawn a blank.
that is fair, because you basically took the 2 that popped while the other ones just kind of fell. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So, Miz.
Okay.
Ziggler. Corbin. Murphy.
Okay.
Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
Angel Garza. Humberto Carrillo.
Okay.
Roddy Strong.
Okay.
Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Lacey Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Carmella.
Okay.
And Nikki Cross.
Yeah. Okay. I got 4 out of the 5. Or sorry, I got 4 out of 5 slots selected. I've already named off 2.
Okay. Well, hit me with the 2, and then as I ramble on, is why I give them away. You'll figure out your 5th.
I'm debating on a 5th here. Dolph Ziggler for sure.
Have him.
Because if we've got Ryan Nemeth now on the AEW roster, which they have, and they've started to bring him in here over the past few weeks and that stuff, I think you bring Nick Nemeth and Dolph Ziggler, and there's enough people there that Dolph has worked with in the past. There's enough people there that Dolph wishes that he could have worked and hasn't yet, and I think we plug him on the mid card and we could make him either a serviceable heel going after the TNT title, or he could be a serviceable heel with his brother and they go after the tag team titles, or they could be the faces of this new dark, elevated YouTube series that's Paul White and Tony Schiavone are going to host, and whatever develops there and that stuff, kind of, maybe put him in with the younger talent to kind of develop them a little bit and that stuff, because the AEW doesn't have an NXT per se, but that's what AEW Dark and this AEW Dark Elevated is perceived to be, as kind of a developmental show for them. So, and you need, attention getting talent and that stuff, and he has a track record, and he has a of the fan base and that stuff, and he's a very funny guy, and he can do his thing, and the stand-up comedy and whatever, and that's what I'm looking at right now with him.
Cool. And the reason I put him on the list is because he, for me, has a track record of no promo, no charisma. He's all in the ring, which is absolutely great. He's a great mechanic and technician.
I guess it's all the eye of the beholder. Because it's like the things I'm building him up for is like, oh no, he doesn't have it.
No, because I'm just going off of whatever I've seen. He's just forever been a stagehand.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like maybe he can get a fresh new look in AEW. At the same time, I fear what AEW would let him go loose with absolutely no control in that company. What kind of stupid crap will come out of his head and end up on TV?
It wouldn't end up on TV, TL. It would end up on Being the Elite on YouTube.
Mr. TL.
Oh, that's right. We did the gimmick change at the beginning.
Exactly.
And you're this big, they call you Mr. There we go.
Please, please, please. Call me TL. Okay, TL. Mr. TL.
All right. So we did that. And the last one that I wrote down here is Roderick Strong. Again, Roderick Strong has worked with a lot of people that are in AEW right now. I think he could get really good matches with everybody in AEW. And does it matter that he's a bit of a charisma void outside of, to work with the Undisputed Era?
Yep.
No, not with the right people.
It does. That's why he's on the list, because he don't have it. I saw him on NXT the other night. He had a little one-on-one with Adam Cole, baby, but he was so completely void of any charisma. I'm like, he can't act. Straight up, I'm like, he's delivering lines like it's a high school production. I'm like, ugh. This guy's awful.
He's not an actor. He's a shooter. I make him AEW's Dean Malenko.
You better, because you can't give that guy lines. You cannot give that man.
He's just going to be this sawed off giant killer. I think.
Make him a mute. Give him a mask and a ball gag. I don't care. He just have him.
Okay.
Take him.
Fine.
He don't have it for WWE. He don't have it.
I will. And I mean, like you can go different ways with Roddy too. I mean, like you could. Like I said, you can put him with the Namaths on that AEW Dark Elevation show and that stuff, and pair him with some of the Nightmare Factory kids and that stuff, and get some really good stuff out of that. Or you could put him on Dynamite every week and put him into like the TNT title reign after he amasses maybe a Goldberg-esque winning streak and is this Messiah the Backbreaker-esque shooter like Dean Malenko. Like, I'm thinking Dean Malenko with him, so that's what I get with Roddy. I get Dean Malenko vibes. So
I don't think you can give him a Goldberg run, given that he's 5'9", 170.
Well,
he's not a full-grown mass dude.
No, but you put him in with, just have him amass victories.
Although that might be big enough to run through AEW. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Little wrestlers. And have you figured out the fifth yet? Who are you tossing between?
A few, actually.
Really?
Yes.
That means that they're all junk. So which one are you taking?
Wow. Man.
I'm actually surprised that you didn't take Riddle and Miz right off the get-go, but okay.
Yeah, but see, Riddle, he's worked with a lot of the guys in AEW.
Yeah.
But he also has that stigma around him right now with the online community, and the AEW audience is kind of a woke audience. So I think that would really offend the audience if I brought him in.
Would you make him the best heel in the company, and especially because has an online presence? Yeah,
but it could also work adversely, and just because cancel culture is amok right now. I don't want to get my show canceled by doing that too, which is the risk you run, right? So
you think it's a straight up liability?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So that's why I put him on the list because although he works well, he's an absolute goof, and I don't think he fits in at all. I'm like, it's like if RVD smoked just a little bit more weed, to the point that he became unproductive.
Wow, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is RVD done completely wrong.
I don't know if I'd give him a Scooby-Doo gimmick or something, but that'd be interesting.
The sad thing is, I don't know if that's a gimmick. I think that's just him and his stupid self.
I mean, it's Turner. They do own the Hanna-Barbera thing. Maybe I get him a dog and they get a van out in the corner or something.
I feel like his goofiness would lend along pretty great, feuding with a Jericho, because he likes stupid, funny crap, and same with Orange Cassidy.
Yes. Oh, Riddle and Cassidy would be fun. I think a lot of their independent stuff is out there because it has happened on the indies before.
Let's see. Mustafa Ali's a good high flyer. Same with Garza Carrillo. They can go on with Phoenix and Pentagon.
Yeah, they could.
Nia Jax, you could finally have the match with whatever her name is on AEW.
Nyla Rose.
There you go.
So you have Nia versus Nyla and really get the tongue twisters going.
Or you make them just a super tag team for your women's division.
Oh, God. Yeah, monster tag team.
Yep.
Carmella on that list is interesting, though. Why is Carmella on that list?
She's ugly hot, and she's, useless.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it. I mean, she's made up nicely, but I think she's naturally kind of homely looking.
I mean, I bring in Carmella if I'm bringing in Enzo and Cass. Sure, but...
You can do that if you want. Absolutely. You can bring that act into the company.
I mean, that's...
Because they're free agents, might as well.
Yeah, and that's an act that was proven to work in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is tough.
Literally, the only two people I put on this list because I don't like them straight up, and just figured out the hell with them.
Yeah,
was Corbin and Lacey Evans.
Yeah, see, Lacey, I really don't find any use for, especially if I'm going to bring somebody in. If I'm going to bring somebody in, I'm bringing in Peyton Royce off of your list. If I'm bringing her in, she's making my women's division better because, I've seen her independent stuff. I've seen her NXT stuff and everything. And she's, solid worker. And we talked about that. So she's making my division better. And the knock on AEW has always been the women's division is kind of lackluster. So
exactly. And that's why I was kind of wondering, why haven't you taken Nikki Cross? Because she'd be like a good foil for Britt Baker.
Yeah, she would. And the problem is that you don't have Killian Dane on that list. Because if Killian Dane was on that list, I would take Killian Dane and Nikki Cross in a heartbeat.
You know what? He almost made that list. That I was almost going to put that tag team on there.
Yeah.
Of Eric and Ivar.
Okay. I
almost had them on there.
You're thinking two different acts, though.
I think I am. Who am I? Who's the other Viking dude?
Killian Dane is the dude on NXT with Drake Maverick from Belfast.
Oh, okay, my bad.
He's got a hairy Irish dude. That's like just this juggernaut monster.
Are the Vikings still on WWE?
They are, but one of them's hurt, so they're kind of off TV now. But they're still an act. So
okay, but that's the one that's married to no.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one Killian Dane is married to Nikki Cross.
Oh my goodness! I know what I just did. Yep. No, it was that. Oh, I'm an idiot. No, it was the one girl who married one of the dudes from the Viking Experience people, and she's not on the roster anymore.
Yeah, Sarah Rose used to be.
Thank
Sarah,
you.
What was her gimmick? Can't remember now.
I don't know. She just smiled a lot and did like winky eyes with Ruby Riott.
She was in the Riot Squad. Yeah, she was a third member of the Riot Squad. Yeah, that's eating me now. Sarah.
I'm mixing up all my hairy bald dudes or whatever. Hairy bald dudes.
I'm sad I'm
bearded.
Sarah, because her real last name is Rowe. I'm just trying to get the whole thing here.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Sarah Logan. That's what it was. It was an indescript last name, and that's why I couldn't remember it. Sarah Logan. That's what it was. Yeah.
That's what I'm confusing here. Okay, so it's Nikki Cross with the other. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Okay, you still got to pick a fifth.
I still no. I'm still racking my brains here, and that's.
I have soft shoot enough for you, my friend.
Just to move the whole process along, I take Ali to finally give him the freedom from that retribution BS that he's doing, and I bring him over to AEW, and we take a look at him potentially on the new brand on YouTube, that AEW Dark Elevated thing a little bit, because they're going to be building guys through there. And after a few months, then I immediately shift him over to Dynamite, and I throw him in every single conceivable ladder match that company throws on over the next few years and that stuff, because he is money in those Money in the Bank ladder matches and that stuff. He was really good. I was really impressed with him at the last actual Money in the Bank ladder match that they had in front of people back in 2019. So there we go.
There you go. And the reason I put him on the list is because although he's leading Retribution right now, which is a horrible faction that needs to be disbanded so each individual can have some actual time to be a better character, him being the leader has shown that he's not really that good. He's not that charismatic. He don't have that thing to him. Like, him as a leader of Retribution didn't make any sense. He's not that guy.
You know what?
He's a good stagehand.
You know what I do is I'm thinking here too is I put Ollie and Ricochet together as a tag team, and they going after the Bucks, they going after FTR, they going after put them in for some tag team fun here over the next 6 months and that stuff. And I think they just go nuts with it.
If they go against the Bucks, do they just get rid of the ring and make it a trampoline?
I mean, dude, as much as we knock it, that style sells. It sells with the younger kids. It's a Gen Z thing. Like, the conversation has gone full circle now. So
absolutely,
they can sit down and eat their chimkin and drink their chalky milk and watch the Bucks versus Ricochet and Ali or something.
They can kiss my assy ass. Anyway.
So then anyway, that's my 5. There we go. So again, I'm taking Ricochet, Peyton Royce, Ziggler, Strong, and Mustafa Ali off that list.
I accept. You may take them.
All right.
Now
I'm scared. Now I'm scared because these will be the 5 that will be known as the WWE I guess additions. And any word, if they go to, you have to specify which brand you're going to throw them on. That's your challenge, I guess. And see what happens.
Okay.
So,
okay. Here we go.
Okay, go for it. All
right. Coming to a WWE near you, I take Sean Spears.
You son of a bitch. What will you do if Ty Dillinger back in the company?
Ty Dillinger's coming back. He's getting back his theme song. He's getting back to 10. People are going to chant that, and he's going to NXT.
That's a good. Okay.
Because I want him to do some. I want him to put over Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good mechanic, but he has enough charisma to be in the ring when I need him to be.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming back as a mechanic, and he's coming back to NXT to put some guys over and to help people out.
Right.
I don't want him back on the main roster because he doesn't do anything there. Also coming back to WWE, I'm taking Jake Hager.
Okay.
The Swagger Man is back, baby.
You'll have to contend with his Bellator commitments. That's the only thing I gotta say.
No problem. He's coming back though, because now that he's a little bit more legit.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, there's some big dudes in WWE. I mean, you've got Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
You've got some giants. You got McIntyre. You got Sheamus. You got Bobby Lashley. At some point, you'll probably get back Brock Lesnar. You've got Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
they got some big guys, and he's going to finally fit in with the big guys to have some big matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I wish what's his name was back wrestling again, but he just wants to be a commentator. Friggin' English dude.
Oh, Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett.
Like, if all those guys were back in there, you'd be like, man, these are some monsters. I forgot about Strowman. He's in there too. But I mean, like, Hager getting a little bit of dirt on him and coming back as a bigger name. And if I put him on Raw, but also make him a Paul Heyman guy, so Heyman has a guy in Raw and a guy in SmackDown to go up against Drew McIntyre, now he got something. He gets a mouthpiece.
Yeah, well, he needs a mouthpiece. That's the thing.
Yeah, because he's terrible on his own.
Yeah,
so if he gets a mouthpiece,
he's very terrible on his own. So that's what it is. So okay.
Yeah, but if I give him a mouthpiece like a Paul Heyman to go with on Raw to go up against Drew McIntyre, money.
And I mean, we'll talk about the the reasons why these two individuals made this list and that stuff. With Spears, like I said earlier, I felt like had I submitted to you the original list, that it was going to be, too lean of guys you've probably never heard of. So I was like, okay, that's going to be, interesting to see him navigate that, or it might be too difficult. So whatever. So I looked at it and I was like, well, Spears just came back here this past week, but prior to that, he had been gone off of AEW TV for quite a bit. So I was
flopped.
Yeah. Yeah,
he straight up flopped.
And he has flopped. He was doing, matches on Dark again and that stuff. And so just kind of take a look and see. And Hager, again, they're teasing the split of the Inner Circle. So what's Hager's future, really? And I'm looking at the potential dance partners and that stuff. And I see maybe one or two, but he would have to turn babyface. And I just don't think that's safe with him. He is right now. He's a good heater in a group. He's not a great, like that. So why not split the group and just say, hey, Jake, thanks for everything. See ya.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah. So that's
that note, though, because you gave me so much of the Inner Circle, I am taking Santana and Ortiz.
Okay.
I am taking them.
Yeah.
I'm teaming them up with Damian Priest, who's going to turn his back on Bad Bunny and become a heel. But those three are going to take on the Hurt Business.
Oh, wow. So you have like a Latino group on Raw.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, I've got Santana Ortiz and Damian Priest taking on Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin.
The return of Los Boricuas. Gotcha.
No, not the return of Los Boricuas. No. Maybe. But still, the whole point is that, I mean, all 6 of those guys can go.
Yeah.
And Damian Priest needs a little something better right now than just to be around Bad Bunny. Or whatever.
I mean, it's just an intro angle for him anyway, Bad Bunny's. It's not really it's not something he'd be married to.
It's
for sure.
the ringmaster. It's garbage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Great point. So, all right. So
the last one I really had to toss between, and the 2 that I tossed between was Matt Sydal and Rusev.
Right, Miro.
Yes. Well, I mean, if he comes back to WWE,
he would be Rusev. Yes.
It's like, do I want Rusev or do I want Evan Bourne?
Now you got to remember how each of these guys left WWE. That's the thing. But
how did Evan Bourne leave WWE?
Drugs.
Steroids or drugs?
Like stuff that would be considered legal now that wasn't back then. No.
Oh, THC.
He is a fan of the sweet leaf. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Rusev is just because
of really shoddy creative and wanted to get a chance elsewhere to kind of do more of his thing. Like he's not a Russian monster anymore. He wants to be a Twitch streamer. He wants to be a gamer. He wants to be a whole thing. You're going to take Rusev just so you can punish him for being a Twitch gamer, aren't you?
Maybe.
You monster. I'm faking. I can't see him, but I can see the wheels just turning in his mind right now after I said that. I can tell your lights. I can tell your eyes lit up, even though you are
coming
mysterious.
Back to the WWE is Rusev.
Is that for real? Are you taking that?
Yes, I'm taking Rusev.
Okay, so you're taking Miro back. Okay.
Yep.
Miro, well, I'm hoping that he has a better run of it, with you this second time around than he did how it ended. I guess you would put Rusev and Lana back together, would be what you're thinking?
Yes, they're going back together. She is going back as a valet. She's not going to wrestle anymore. Mm-hmm. He's going to be Bulgarian. We're getting rid of this whole Russian nonsense.
Yeah.
But he's going to be the guy that he was supposed to be, which was just this bulldozer of a man.
Right.
And I want him to... Honestly, if you didn't take Riddle, did you?
No.
I want him to go up against a guy like Riddle.
Okay.
Because, it's somebody who should be, serious and strong against a guy who's goofy but technical. Mm-hmm. It's a nice foil against them. So, Rusev, he is a good worker in the ring. He knows his stuff. He is a good person and everything else. It's just, you're right. The creative really ruined him in WWE on the Raw side of things. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't unsalvageable. They just had to get back to the core of what he is and what he does.
Right.
They just went a little bit too sideways with him. But in AEW, he has no guidance, and he's just all over the place, just like his clothing. So, yeah, he's coming back as Rusev, and we're just going to start from the beginning again, start from the ground up, and he's going to be what he was supposed to be, which is a wrecking ball.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There we go. So, the cut downs and the selections from the cut downs roll as such. Going from, in our hypothetical scenario, going from WWE to AEW, Ricochet, Peyton Royce, Dolph Ziggler, Roderick Strong, and Mustafa Ali, and going from AEW back to WWE in some of these cases, which would be actually really interesting, though, to see Santana and Ortiz go into WWE, and you're not going to build them up through NXT and do it. You're just going to launch them right on Raw with Damian Priest, which would be, that actually is really good. Can't complain with that. That would be really cool. Sean Spears, Jake Hager, and Miro. So
Rusev.
So you basically so you basically took ex WWE guys back, with the exception of Santana and Ortiz, back to WWE.
Or, as I see it, I took back the inner circle with some additions.
And on the other side, I've got For most of these picks, free young talent that kind of have gone wayward in WWE and that stuff, and that had held high spots, but since then have kind of dropped a little bit. A former established champion that again could be utilized wherever through the card, and a guy that has worked indies with basically everybody on the roster and could have a good match, and I'm going to make him my Dean Malenko. So I think we're both happy here.
As I see it, you took 5 indie darlings.
I mean, I wouldn't consider Allie or Peyton Royce an indie darling per se, but
Allie might be. The fact that you said that Peyton Royce, you've seen her stuff from before.
Yeah.
And she's like a Storm Wrestling Academy graduate.
Yes.
And maybe
I wouldn't call her as an indie darling though.
Maybe I mean internet darling. The IWC, if you will.
See, I wouldn't even say that Ali is an internet darling, though.
Really? Even when he was like Iron Man with the glowing gloves and everyone's like,
I think people were like, yeah, give him a shot on the main roster. And then once he got up there, it's like, oh, that's nice. And then moved on to, other stuff. But
well, that's, yeah.
These aren't any hardcore internet darlings here that I've got. Maybe the one that's closest to it is Ricochet, just because of the Lucha Underground stuff and that.
Dolph
and everything
Ziggler.
That you can talk about. Well, Dolph, okay, sure, I'll give you that. Sure, all right. So there's 2 out of 5 there.
Roddy Strong,
but to call the entire group internet darlings. Now, see, in 2021 is Roderick Strong an internet darling though? I don't know.
I don't know. He's an ROH guy, aren't they all?
Not necessarily. Like, it's been long enough that he has not been in ROH to,
Okay. Is there anybody that you were hoping I was going to put there that I didn't?
Not really, because it was hard to make this list. I was surprised that you didn't take Sabian and Ford. That's about it. That's about the only real shocker.
Which I kind of showed my hand earlier.
And Seidel, we had talked about. So there we go. I know that Seidel was like one of your selections there, either to have him as Evan Bourne or whatever. By the way, if you would have taken Seidel instead of Miro, what would you have done with Seidel? Put him in NXT or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. He goes to NXT to work his stuff out there. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I don't know where he would fit in the main roster. He'd be so good in NXT, especially against like Adam Cole and whatever's left of the Undisputed Era. He just fits that style and that size.
He could do He could do repeated shooting star presses into Randy Orton's RKO on pay-per-views for you if you wanted.
That's what I would hope for. Like, that whole story of how Kofi Kingston went from like the rookie who was feuding with him until years later he's finally like the champion and the big dog against Randy Orton. Yeah. But I wish I could do that with Evan Bourne. Like all these years, he comes back later, a little bit older, a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser, and comes back to take on Randy Orton. However, I don't think he's done the work. I don't think he's there.
So you'd have him work his way up through NXT first and then do it. That might be the blow off of bringing him up.
If not, just keep him in NXT just to be a good guy. Like him and Balor are going to have some great matches.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's tons of dance partners for him there.
Or I might even send him over to NXT UK just to be like a fresh name in there.
There would be a slug of new dance partners for him over there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. There'd be matches you've never seen before, and him going against European guys in that style.
Like him versus
actually having to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to be in a real match where you have to get hit by a guy like Walter.
Like him versus Walter could be interesting for sure.
Yeah, and for once, he's not just going to be like the flippy guy. He's going to have to actually fight, which is like, okay, this might bring something different out of him.
Exactly. Well, if that were to happen, I would wish him success and a better debut than he had in AEW, where, he comes out during the Battle Royal and tries to do the shooting star splash and slips on the rope and almost kills himself.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was bad. So that was a brutal botch. But yeah, so there we go. That's our cut down day scenario. Just a little fun fantasy booking. here on the channel. I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll see you next time on Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this stuff, let us know. And if you didn't, then let us know that as well. Then we know not to do it again.
Don't let me know. Don't let me know.
For Mr. TL again.
Mr. TL.
Mr. TL. That's right. So are you like Jerry Lynn without the mask? Is that, or with a mask, or what?
He wishes he was Mr. TL.
Oh, we'll see you next time here on the channel. Bye.